Hey guys, Probable1701 here, and today we're going to talk about how it's Armageddon yet again. Armageddon happens a lot around here. Apparently it's not a good idea to leave me in charge. Don't worry, I'm very responsible. Every time something goes wrong at work, they tell me I'm responsible. It's nice being responsible. So, once again, we're in an Armageddon situation, folks. I'm telling you, don't make me the leader. This is what happens, Armageddon all the time. And today in the It's Armageddon video, we're going to discuss if you could only save one season from each Doctor, which season would it be and why? And today we're going to be looking at classic Doctor Who. We'll look at modern Doctor Who in the next video. So we're going to look at the first 7 Doctors from the classic era, naturally. Looking at the first Doctor, I'm going to go with season 1. I think there's just not only are there good stories, but I think for its historical significance, I think you need season 1. I mean, you do need an unearthly child, especially that first episode, but the whole story. The Daleks holds for a lot of people, it's significant because it's the first Dalek story, even if I personally think it's overrated and drags on too long. But it's also got the Reign of Terror in it, and I like the Reign of Terror a lot. It's one of my favorite William Hartnell stories. So as much as I can see where people might pick season 2, probably not season 3 since so much of it's missing. I would go with season 1 for its historical significance. For the second Doctor, I'm going to say season 6, but this is just down to it's the one that has the most episodes existing, because I do think it's Troughton's weakest season. But with season 4 and season 5 hurting so much for lost episodes, I think season 6 would be the way to go, since most of season 6 is intact. And plus you have some good stories. You have the War Games, which is phenomenal, a great 10-parter, very important to Doctor Who lore. You have the Seeds of Death, which is quite possibly the best Ice Warrior story. It's really, really good. Just recently in my It's Armageddon video for the Ice Warriors, which 2 Ice Warrior stories I would keep, one of them was the Seeds of Death. Such a good story. You also have the Crotons, which I think is very underrated. I really enjoyed the Crotons. I've never seen the Mon Robber, but I know it seems to hold a pretty good place in the fandom. It seems to have a pretty good reputation. And of course we have the Invasion, which is phenomenal. So to me it is actually a pretty good season. But since most of it is intact, that's the reason I would keep it. Because so much of Troughton is down to his physical mannerisms, not just his acting ability for what he says, but his actual physical movement. So I'd keep it for that. For the third Doctor, this one's a bit trickier. I'm going to go with season 7, even though it has one less story than his other seasons. I could get the argument for other seasons because you get an extra story, but I really like season 7. I don't think there's any objective duds here. I think Inferno is phenomenal. I would almost pick this just for Inferno. I love Inferno. It's my favorite Pertwee story, one of my favorite Doctor Who stories. And even at 7 parts, it never drags. It fills up at 7 parts really well. I really enjoy Doctor Who and the Silurians. I think that's a strong story with a great message. Spearhead from Space is phenomenal. I'd want to keep it, especially since we have it on actual HD Blu-ray. I'd keep that. Really, the only one I personally don't care for is Ambassadors of Death. But it's not one the fandom just dislikes either. It's one that I hear other people both ways. I know a lot of people who like Ambassadors. I know a lot of other people who don't care for Ambassadors. But it's not just universally disliked, even if it's not universally liked like the other 3 stories in the season seem to be either. It's just kind of the one that seems 50-50 whether people like it or not. But again, it's a very strong season. See, I wouldn't say season 8 because I think Claws of Axos just isn't good, and I find the Daemons underrated. Plus, I could see people, if that was the only season, maybe getting a little tired of seeing the Master pop up quite so much, as good as he is. Plus, I think season 7 just has stronger stories. Season 9 starts off strong, but from what I hear from people, the Mutants and Time Monster, it just kind of falls by the wayside. Season 10, I think there's a good argument for season 10. I think season 10's a strong season. It could be my favorite season so far. But again, I think season 9 is just season 7. I think season 7's just stronger. Of all of them, I think season 7 could objectively be the strongest. So I would say season 7. For the fourth Doctor, this one was really hard for me because you guys know I love season 12. It's my favorite season in all of Doctor Who. I love season 12. But I think trying to look at it objectively, for which one, for posterity's sake, I would keep, I went with season 13. Season 13 is very strong. As much as I have issues with Android Invasion, which I have to rewatch soon, I'm not really looking forward to that. As much as I don't care for it, I do get there are a lot of people who do care for it. It's not just universally disliked or anything. It's just kind of the story from the season I think people forget about. It's kind of that one that, there's always that story in a really strong season that just kind of people forget it's in that season, and that seems to be Android Invasion. So while I don't think most people think it's bad, I think most people just forget it's in there. And the rest of the season is strong. I mean, Terror of the Zygons, really good. Planet of Evil, bit underrated, very phenomenal. Brain of Morbius, fantastic, amazing. Pyramid of Mars, masterpiece. Seeds of Doom, masterpiece. It's a strong season. Again, it's hard for me to pick between 12 and 11 and 12 and 13 for that. But I did, trying to look at it objectively, I did say season 13. It's Tom Baker being amazing. It's Sarah Jane being amazing. The story, the writing, the directing. It's just a phenomenal season of Doctor Who. For the fifth Doctor, I went to season 19. I think that's his strongest. I really like Castrovalva a lot. I like Fort of Doomsday a lot. The Visitation's pretty good. I actually enjoy Time Flight more than most. Really, it was just kind of Black Orchid, I think, and Kinda right off the bat that I don't like. But, Davison doesn't have a season I think is just flawless. I do think this is his strongest season, though, overall. Arguments could be made for season 21, but I think I'd go with 19. There's still some of 21 I need to see. For the sixth Doctor, I went with season 22. I don't see why anybody would go for 23. I'm sure some people would, but 22, you're getting almost twice as many stories, and in some cases better stories, because I do think Colin Baker's two best stories are probably Revelation of the Daleks and Vengeance on Varos, or Varos, however you say it. I do think those are his strongest. Now, I haven't seen all of 22. I haven't seen Attack of the Cybermen or Mark of the Rani or Time Lash. But I'm willing to take the good with the bad or the bad with the good to get the strong stories in there. Whereas season 23 only has 4 stories. Only 2 of them, I think, are arguably really good, with Terror of the Vervoids and Mysterious Planet. Mind Warped is alright. And Ultimate Foe is alright. So I think I would go with season 22. I'd rather get 7 stories than 4 when they're both a mixed bag. And for the 7th Doctor, I went with season 26. I know some people would go season 25, but I think, while I do think Remembrance is great, I personally don't care for Greatest Show in the Galaxy the way some people do. I haven't seen Happiness Patrol. And while I like Silver Nemesis more than most, I do think it's an inferior version of Remembrance. Whereas season 26, I think, is extremely well-rounded. It's a really good season of Doctor Who. I think season 26 is probably the best 80s season of Doctor Who. It's one of the best seasons of Doctor Who. It's really good. All 4 stories are really good. I think the weakest one story-wise is probably Survival, but I might actually rank Survival above Battlefield, because Battlefield's incidental music is awful. That's my one complaint about Battlefield, is the incidental music used in it really pulls it down. If they actually would rescore Battlefield with a more traditional sounding, either modern or 70s Doctor Who aesthetic, I think it would sound and play much better. Much better. It's my only issue with Battlefield. Other than that, I love Battlefield. It's great to see the Brigadier back and him interacting with the 7th Doctor and Ace. Again, I like Survival. I think that's Anthony Ainley's best performance as the Master. He gets to play it way more serious here and less caricaturish like he did in some of his run. I absolutely love Ghostlight. I might not be 100% sure what's going on in Ghostlight, but I absolutely love Ghostlight. I've watched it multiple times. It's just dripping with atmosphere. You could cut the atmosphere with a knife. I absolutely love the script, and the directing, I think, is executed very well. Great story. And while I do find Curse of Fenric a little overrated, I do think it's essential Doctor Who watching, and I really enjoy it. And I think McCoy and Ace are just great in it, and so are the guest cast. It's a really good story. It's just a really good season. There's no bad stories in season 26. It's a well-rounded season. And I guess for the 8th Doctor, I'd say the TV movie, even over the Big Finish stuff, just because I'm not really familiar with that. And I actually enjoyed the TV movie, so the TV movie. So that's what I say for the classic doctors. We will be doing the modern doctors next. So let me know down below what you guys think of my list. And since, of course, I like to get your participation in this, I would like to know which seasons of Classic Who you would save if you could only save one season of each Doctor. So comment down below and let me know your thoughts and why you feel the way you do. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications. I do new videos every day, so you want to stay on top of that. I also have a Patreon now. If you would like to become one of my patrons, there's a link to that down below. My entry-level tier is only $2 a month. If you would like to support what I do, if you enjoy what I do, that would be very much appreciated and help with all the importing fees. Most importantly, though, stay safe out there, and thank you for watching.